Back on
Auntie.
the
I'm like, bro.
Them CU Aunties. Them CU Aunties. There, man.
G. Bush, Tampa, CU Auntie checking in. Thank you so much for reporting back to us with the truth.
CU Aunties, they say they in the building.
The CU Aunties in Colorado have a stronger fan base.
Shout out to CU Aunties Women's Fan Club in the building. She said, I can't.
CU Aunties, and you know they are large and in charge.
Yay!
Hey!
Again.
Hey, happy Wednesday.
W.
Oh, y'all coming in with the W. Gave them that work. Let's go. Welcome in. Okay, Auntie K, Auntie Nisha, what's good? It is CU Aunties Wednesday. What's happening? What's going on?
It's all good. Coming off this W, having a good time. Looking forward to the next game. Just had a great time, just in a good mood, really seeing the kids gel together. So good. It's so good that you guys should go shop at cuaunties.com.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So good. It was such a good weekend. Get you a celebration cup. That's right. Get you some merch. Bring it up. Let's go.
Get you some merch. Get your celebration cup. We had a good time in our Discord this weekend.
That was fun.
Talk about that.
It was late. So it was a lot of East Coast aunties in there. So like it was good to be in there with everybody else to keep us up. Cause I took a nap earlier in the day because I already knew. It was like probably after 1, almost 2 when it was over or whatever on my time. So
it's perfect time for me. It was cocktail hour.
Still energized. She was still energized, but it was a lot of fun. Just enjoying it with the ladies, talking ball. Like it's a good time. It's a safe space. Like if you got questions, you can ask it freely. Don't nobody make you feel like you should know that. It was a good time. It was
They trying not to brag. It was lit. They trying not to brag. It was lit. I'm gonna tell the truth. It was lit. You can be an adult. So many other conversations happen. I'm hosting, so a lot of times I'm in the background and just kind of watching what's going on in the chat. But you see the connections happening. We're sitting in all different parts of the country right now.
Yes.
I don't know if people really understand it, like the power of women and women coming together and what the CU Aunties really mean, right? So none of these women, like they're not sitting up here like that ain't cousin Auntie Nisha over there. These are women who came together around the same same goal, the same interest, wanting to be able to show the same support, all seeing that there was a need to be able to come out and be able to support these young men. NIL is out there and they moving people around, and you can what the kids say, you can get flued out to the game and all of that. But a lot of these young men are showing up and playing without their families in the stand. And so it means something to be able to know that, hey, when my family can't be here, there's an auntie that's out there rooting for me. That's a lot.
There's a lot of us out there.
There's a lot of aunties rooting for you. Maybe more aunties than you even knew that you had. And so, like, I really want to, really hone in on that and really, give you all your flowers for even, putting it together. I'm coming in late and kind of just hosting in this space, but I don't think that enough background has been given to like how this came together. This isn't like a group of women who were watching football together. These were all women who just had the same interests. And so I think it's a great showing at this time for what the power of women can be. And you don't always have to know people personally to be able to take a chance on being able to give back to the community and step up and be the change you want to see. So, just salute to y'all, and I want to give you your flowers.
Thank you.
The Discord is lit. Like I said, the Discord is lit. So don't miss the party. But again, there's a lot of different connections and conversations that are going on about football, around football, and just real life too. So I get off my soapbox now and turn it over to the aunties.
It's a real sisterhood. So join us. We're watching the games. If you can't be in Boulder, you might as well be with us. We had ladies on the train. We had ladies. I was in the airport tapping in, hanging out. We had ladies that could not, physically, travel.
Travel and be
So
safe.
it's really good to have a core of ladies that, like you said, a safe space to come in and talk ball and cheer for the nephews. And I mean, we were cheering and had the little sounds, and we can
We
all
was
do
all
that.
coaches.
Yeah, couch coaches for sure. And where can they join at?
Y'all can join us at cuaunties.club. When you pay, wait a few minutes for the invite link to the private Discord to pop up. When it pops up, make sure you register. Please make sure you just wait the minutes, because if you just go out, then we got to come. It's a little work to find you. And not that I don't mind, it just takes a lot of time. So
That's all
just
me.
wait a few moments, wait for the link to pop up, click on it, register, and it'll bring you right in. um that link will take you like straight to the thing, like our returning ladies.
They
You
know what to
can,
do. Yeah, I
you
know
know
what
what
to
to
do.
do, and it
Yeah.
comes with 2 games. Like we do see you every Saturday. Sunday we do that, we try to do an NFL nephew, but all of them aren't playing right now, so we just kind of take about a week and see who we can catch. But you can
Come on
also
in.
find out on all our platforms too.
Oh yeah, but really, aunties, y'all know how we can be with technology. Okay, I'm an auntie too. Okay, okay. Now we know how we can be with technology. Just it's instant, but it's a second, and then it'll get you right where you want to go. Just give it a second, it'll get you right where you want to go. But again, come hang out. It's a VIP experience. It's not anybody could watch the game, on Saturday by themselves, but it's the experience, it's the engagement. They be giving away stuff, y'all.
Yeah, we do give away
I ain't supposed to tell nobody, but they be
Yes,
giving
we
away
do
stuff.
give away
I'm telling y'all.
things.
I'm telling y'all,
Everybody, they know we do give away items.
just all of a sudden they giving away stuff. So don't miss that. Don't miss that party, man. Make sure
We'll be there
check
this
that out.
week. It's gonna be another late one, so
Yes.
get your naps in. All my East Coast aunties, they
And
gonna help
come
us stay up.
Exactly,
and
exactly.
thinking about giveaway later on today, as promised, we are raffling away 2 tickets to the October 11th game, the Buff versus Iowa State. So there will be a lucky winner at the end of this show having their 2 tickets. We'll reach out to you, get you those tickets, and I hope you get to enjoy the game.
We trying to get y'all to Boulder.
And trying to get you to Boulder. Yeah, absolutely. So we
I'm trying to
won.
get the Boulder too, y'all. So if whoever win, let us know how the game was, because I'm living vicariously through y'all right now till I get the Boulder. So y'all let me know. But I'm gonna get to a Buff run. Don't worry.
Right.
Buff walk. I'm gonna see the run. Everything. Don't worry. I'm coming.
We got you.
Uh-oh. All right, we got Auntie Kia in the building. Hey, Auntie Kia, what's
Yeah,
going on?
Hey, aunties, what's up, ladies? How we doing tonight?
Good,
Good.
Wonderful,
good on that.
wonderful. What's good?
Still on that W.
Still on the
Okay,
high.
doing a
Still on the
2-step
high.
and a high step off that W. I was hollering at the TV.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it looks like the guys came over the adversity that they had from Houston, right? Everybody was kind of wondering who was going to be the quarterback, what was going to go on in the locker room, how were they going to gel together? And they pulled it off. They pulled it off. So I'm so happy that they got over that adversity, which brings us me think of our new guest that is coming on this weekend, or today, not this weekend. Sorry, that's coming on today. I'm so excited. I'm nervous, you guys. So she's a real deal. She's a first class lady at all. But today, what brings us here after talking about adversity and challenges, what brings us up to our next guest is Miss Kimberly Mathis. She was named Icon of Dallas in September 20 for the September 25 issue. She's a life coach. She's an author. She's a mother of 3, Kennedy, her daughter, and a proud football mom of our 2 wink wink nephews, Kaleb and Kole. And she's the wife and coach of Coach Mathis, who's a former NFL player and now is our football coach at our favorite CU Buff. She has 2 books. Her first book is a memoir titled "Dope Girl." It depicts what the effects of unfortunate side effects of drug use and her mom battling with drug addiction. Sorry, guys, while she was a child and moving into her adulthood. Her second book is Liars and Stilettos. it's more of a healing book, right? A self-help, I believe. And she encouraged women and people to release what no longer is theirs and be honest with yourself. So without do,
Don't know me, I like to write beautiful things as much as I like to create beautiful spaces. And here lately, I've been thinking a lot about storytelling and what it is that I want to say and what ideas I want to convey to the world. So this morning, I was on a leadership call and the coach said, that big giant thing that you think you need that's going to catapult you to the next level may be the very thing that takes the most from you. And then it hit me. Why do I need somebody else to help me tell my stories and convey my message to the world? Nobody can tell my story and convey the messages that I want to share better than me. And nobody can tell your stories and convey your messages better than you. So instead of waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, the right platform, just start sharing, because your message will fall upon the ears of those that are supposed to hear it, no matter what platform.
Wow.
Hey.
Hey, you guys, let's welcome Miss Mathis.
Yes.
Hey, ladies, how are y'all?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to be here with you this evening. Y'all have to excuse my voice. I'm kind of a little bit under the weather, but it is all good when it comes to CU and all things football.
That's right. Yes. You guys, CU is bringing people together, which is the embodiment of CU Aunties. We're trying to bring in a positive energy, a sisterhood, and just through football, we come across you, and your book and your story. And, when you're with women, there's always a story to tell. There's always something, how we overcome something, how we're the backbone of a lot of things. And, some of the generational trauma that we're getting rid of and just healing. So it was just a great time to bring you on. And I'm so glad we're cool enough to come on. And welcome. But I want you to tell us more about yourself and your journey and, what made you compelled to write the book of your memoir.
Okay. Ooh, that's a whole lot. So as you guys said, I am the mom to your nephews, Kaleb and Kole. And my husband, Coach Kevin, is the DB coach. We are college sweethearts, and it's been almost a 30-year journey. That's for a different day, though, right? We're still here. We made it. But a little bit about myself is that I'm a writer, a life coach, and a speaker, and it is my mission to help people understand the perils of addiction, not just from what it does to the addict, but what it does to the families of the addict and specifically the children, because they are often lost in the conversation about what addiction does. So it has been my life's purpose to bring awareness to addiction, but not just as a function of a bad choice, but to help people understand it from a mental health perspective, that we need to stop criminalizing addiction and start treating it for the mental health issue that it actually is. And so in my debut memoir, Dope Girl, which was actually released in 2019 with a second edition being released just last week, it is a tale of what it was like, the trauma of what it was like to live with an addict and to live with other people's choices and to see someone that you love so deeply, the person who gave you life, actively taking their own. Right. So it was so much depth and such a labor of love, but it was also therapeutic and healing in the sense that though I had to confront some very, very traumatic experiences and kind of relive those things, I got my healing and I was laid out on the floor, strung out, Lord help me, but I got my healing. And so to follow that, I wrote Liar in Stilettos, because now that we told the story of Dope Girl and we told the trauma and what that was like, now what do we do now? right?
Mhm.
Now that we are healed and now that we've had this experience, who do we become? Do we allow this to change the trajectory of our lives, or do we embrace and embody who it is that we're meant to be and use this as a catalyst to move forward in whatever our purpose is or whatever it is that God has told us to do? So I tell people all the time, Liar in Stilettos is it's a conversation. It's one of those raw conversations you have with us girlfriends, with us aunties, with our sisters that we don't necessarily like to have. They're conversations that are hard, but they're necessary, right? And so I say all the time, I wrote this like a conversation with a lot of big sister energy. And the best way to describe Liar in Stilettos is to know that it is prose that will cut like glass, but it'll heal like gospel.
Yeah.
Okay? Because we all need to tell the truth about what it is that we've been through and where we are in our lives so that we can be better.
That's a lot. That's a lot because a
Where
lot
can
of
I get
people
it?
are, yeah, you're right. We get to that. A lot of people do get, they understand they come from different backgrounds, they have their trauma, but then they stay emotionally stuck right
Absolutely.
there, and you can go on. And I applaud you because
thank you.
The things that you went through and to be successful and be in a successful marriage and have kids and a stable environment. When did you know that you needed to heal? Because I seen a little clip from you did before on a YouTube video. You said that you knew very early there was a certain part of life you didn't want. College was it. I'm going to do it. So I drive driven. But some people are on that train driving, and then they don't realize that I need to heal. Did that come later, or you kind of did it while you were in college, or was that kind of like?
Now, in all honesty, when you're going through the trauma, you don't really realize how toxic it is, and you don't understand how much of a toll that it's taking on your life until you become that older, more mature version of yourself, that you understand that whatever problems or whatever stagnation that you have is not somebody else's fault, but it is my own. And you start taking accountability for that. And something you said earlier is that people don't heal. I mean, psychologists tell us that most adults are unhealed 8-year-old children. That we're emotionally 8 years old and we don't move past that because our personalities are developed by the time we're 7. And whatever those experiences are that you had up until that time, it kind of shapes who you become, right? And everything every lens through which you see the world, through your experiences and through your relationships, comes from those experiences, and they're just reinforced over time, right? So I think for me, I realized early on that because I saw my mom in active addiction, I was a victim in her crimes as she was trying to support her habit. And I knew that this is not something that she necessarily wanted to do, but is what she had to do because she had become so dependent. My mom was not somebody that just used. She was somebody that was so engulfed that she belonged to the addiction, and that she would probably die if she had not, and a lot sooner had she not continued use in the way that she did. And so I realized early on a lot of the healing that I needed to confront was the healing and the resentment that I had for so many of my family members who I felt like watched this happen and didn't do more, to help. But I also recognize that there's not a whole lot you can do when they're not willing to confront the addiction themselves, right? They have to be in a place that no matter how much we want it for them, they have to want to get better. So I think I write about this in Liar in Stilettos. And you guys, I'm not saying this because it's my work. It is really a really good read. And it is written for women of all ages, because no matter where you are in the journey and in the process, you'll find yourself in this book. But I think when I really, really realized, to answer your question, that I needed to heal, is when I write a story in Liar in Stilettos about, I remember Coach Kevin was going to a meeting, and he was headed out for the meeting, and he and I were talking about different things that we needed back from the store. So I texted him a list of stuff that I wanted him to bring back from the store. And then several hours had passed and I felt like, okay, the meeting's over. Where is he? What's going on? What's taking so long? And then when he finally walked in the door, I just like crashed out and accused him of being somewhere other than where he told me he was going to be. And then when he walked in the door with all the items, like, hey, I stopped, went to the store, did everything you told me. And then I'm like, well, you got Tide laundry detergent and I asked for Gain. Like, wait, what? I didn't know laundry detergent was that big of a deal and they didn't have any more Tide. That's why I got Gain. So then I realized that I was taking something out on him that was a reflection of something that was going on inside that really didn't have anything to do with him. Right. And so I found myself in the therapist's office. Excuse me, y'all. Sat under the weather. About a week or so later, and trying to explain the situation to our therapist. And I'm like, hey, he didn't get my Tide, my Gain laundry detergent, and, going on and on and on about this silly situation that was the most minute importance. And that's when the therapist told me, you are not mad at your husband. He started asking me all these different questions about my family and about my mom and dad. Is your dad around? And I'm like, yeah, what does that have to do with anything? And he's like, is your mom around? I'm like, yeah, but she's an addict or what? And so the more he probed, the more he got to the root of what was happening. And he straight up said, you're not mad at your husband, you're mad at your mom. Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
He correlated that because he said that him not showing up on time. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
Okay. Get it out.
You are fine. You're fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
I equated him not showing up on time to her constantly not showing up.
Right. Yeah.
So that pain that I was carrying from her, I'm so sorry, it came out on my husband in the most innocent way, not realizing that though I had been upset with her, though I was frustrated with her choices and all of the rejection and the abandonment you feel as a child, because why does she keep choosing drugs over me? But I thought that I had moved past it because at that point, I was successful. I was, college educated and married and had a few kids and a couple businesses. But I hadn't really confronted.
Right.
Really confront what it was that was causing so much pain. And though I had accepted her life's choices, I had not accepted what they had done to me. And so I had taken that out on my husband. So I realized in that moment, which was mid to late 30s, that I needed a lot more healing to go. I was not anywhere near where I thought that I was. And all of that time, I was lying to myself. So that's why I call this book Liar and Stilettos, because what stilettos do is they give women a fake sense of confidence. Because I'm telling y'all know there is no other shoe that you can slide on that bad boy under your foot. You immediately get this sense
the walk is different.
Right. Get a new sense of self. And so we parade around in these stilettos with this fake confidence, but we're really wobbling inside.
Yeah.
And so that was how I got to the title of this book, and it's how I realized that I was not really healed, but that I had a lot more work to do.
So you talk about healing. Can we stay right at the healing? And I kind of want to go back to Dope Girl for a second, just because you talked about emotional resilience not being numbness, right? And so it means honoring your feelings without letting them derail your forward motion. I thought that was really cool. But for somebody that's reading Dope Girl who is still kind of in the messy middle, right, of their own healing, what is that actionable, piece of advice that you offer them? Navigating that delicate balance. Like, what is that?
For somebody that I think the biggest advice I can give you is to allow, right? And what I mean by that is that we have to unlearn, specifically in African-American families, that our emotions and that our feelings have to be suppressed just because they don't make people feel good. People don't like when you talk about what pains you or what hurts you, especially if it makes you have to hold somebody else accountable because the feelings or how they're responding to you made you feel. But if you're somebody that finds yourself in the messy middle, meaning that you've never allowed yourself to have these feelings, then the best advice I can give you is to allow. The healing is in the becoming, right? Because growth is uncomfortable. And if we're going to grow and become better versions of ourselves, then we have to allow those feelings to be. That doesn't mean suppress them. That doesn't mean pretend like they don't exist, because all you're doing is kicking the can down the road. And you'll be me at 37 years old, still needing to heal from, trauma from years and years before. So the best advice I could give is to allow, not to run away from those feelings, not to suppress those feelings, because God gives them to us for a reason. But he also gives us methods and tools and resources and people to help us deal with them. So if you allow yourself to feel, then you can deal with exactly what it is that is keeping you bound. And your growth is in the uncomfortable. That's where the growth is.
Would you say you also have to allow yourself to feel and heal appropriately? Because some people, some of us just out here wilding out.
Oh, I address all of that. There are definitely appropriate ways to heal.
Yeah.
That is, journaling, exercising, seeking a therapist. It is, purging things onto a paper and then burning it. There's so many different avenues and ways that we can heal. One of the best ways to increase your dopamine, which is, your body's natural way of feeling better. It's the happy hormone, is to get some sunshine. Is to walk outside. Is to let the sun hit your face. Is to go get fresh air. And we dismiss that stuff because we're like, oh, I don't take walks. I don't go outside. It's hot, and all the things. But if you just allow yourself to bask in the glory of all that God created, he already gave us all of the tools and all the resources that we need that can naturally help us heal ourselves. So yes, there are healthy ways. That is not, and I address all of this, y'all, in grave detail in Lyra and Stiletto. It's a no holds barred guide, because like I said, these conversations that we have at the dinner table with our girlfriends that we don't necessarily want to say out loud, I say all of it because it's a call. It'll call you out, but it'll call you home. And what I mean by that is it'll call you home back to yourself, right? So there are healthy ways to do it, journaling, a therapist, exercising, purging, all of that. Not, necessarily the vices that, we go to, that all it does is numb. It doesn't cure. It doesn't heal. It just numbs. And drinking or drugs or sexting or men or whatever, that doesn't fix anything. It masks. And the whole point of Lyra Stilettos is to take off the mask, because we're all real performative. We're real performative. And we're real performative in every circle, with your family, at work, with your besties, with whatever, so we just have to learn that there are healthy ways to navigate it all, but allowing first, and then choosing the healthy way to deal with it.
Amen. I'm telling you,
I clicked the link in the description. The book to purchase. We got the link in the description. It's a little long for the chat, but the link is in the description for you all to purchase. I think both books.
And you guys, if you choose to read the book, please reach out to me on my social media and on my website. I absolutely love to hear your feedback, and if you were able to gain anything from the work. Because I think the beauty in all of this, the beauty in this platform that you've created, is that our stories are not just for us, right? It's so that everybody else can heal from our scars.
Yes. I'm telling you, healing is the best way to go, you guys. Some people, be honest with yourself. Brings me to football. Yelling, I found out yelling for me is a very joy. I get that energy out. I get to yell. I get to scream and shout, and it's okay. So it really brings me joy to, yell at the TV. Like, you're better yelling than somebody else. Learning how to, get my feelings out. The biggest part of what you said too is, what about, how did you get to the compassion and forgiveness stage? Because you can recognize the trauma, you can recognize that I need to heal. But when it starts, when you talk, what I hear is that you're okay, you're at peace with everything. You have to be compassionate with your mother and her addiction, and and forgiving.
Yes.
When did that kick in?
Ooh, y'all. I think I always, so I'll put it to you like this. early on, when I was about 10 years old, my godmother, who is a licensed family therapist, PhD, doctor of psychology, was very, very instrumental in putting her addiction in a child's terms, right? So she helped start me on that path, because early on, I remember, her just telling me, "Oh, Kim, your mother is sick." Well, at 10 years old, I digest sick as, okay, well, take her to the hospital. Like if she's sick, go get a doctor. Y'all can fix it, right? So, I mean, my 10-year-old brain, somebody go get a doctor. Y'all fix it. There's medicine for that when people are sick. But when her words didn't align with what was happening with her body, if she was sick and nobody fixed it, why was she always sick? Right. It wasn't until, I think, shortly after that, around that same age, when I saw her in the act of using drugs, and I realized then that it wasn't a sickness that was brought on by what I would consider sick, a fever or a cold or something that I couldn't control, but it became then a sickness that was self-inflicted. That I could understand then that was self-inflicted. I didn't know all of the details, because of course my mind was too young to understand exactly what was happening. But what I did realize is that it was intentional, and it was a purposeful choice. And there were moments when I realized that I knew that I had compassion for her, and that I was developing a compassion for her, was when she was in jail, when she was incarcerated. Because when she was incarcerated, she was a different version of herself, right, than she was in the person that was living on the street. And I often refer to her in Dope Girl as Rose, and then as Mom. Because in those moments when she tried to show the tenderness and the love that most moms display, she was Mom. And that happened in jail, when she was sober and in her right mind. And in those moments when she was careless and took me with her to steal, or allowed me to witness her actively in her addiction, she was Rose, because she was trying to do what it is that she wanted to do. And I made those distinctions very clearly in Dope Girl. But my compassion came when I was about 10, seeing her in jail, understanding how my godmother was trying to rationalize her sickness as something that, couldn't necessarily be helped. But when I realized that it was self-inflicted, then I started to realize, like, that it was controlling her in a way. And it was the incarceration healthy version of her that allowed me to see that there is love and there's a good person in there somewhere, if we could just get to it. But she was never there long enough for it to really make a difference, except for the 6 years that she was in the state penitentiary. And even after that, after having been incarcerated for 6 years and drug free, within 1 month of her release, she was already relapsed.
Oh, wow.
So my compassion started early as a kid, seeing two different versions of her, the one that was healthy and the one that was sick.
Now, once now that you're older and you're married, and now that you're a mother, and how have your thoughts or views of your mother changed? Because how sometimes, like they say, you don't understand your parent till you become a parent, and some of the choices they made. When in your adult life that you feel like you then started to get a little bit of an understanding of her as a woman and as a mother?
Ooh, who asked that question? That's a
Auntie Kia.
Kia, that is loaded. But let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. Most of the memories that I have of my mom were not good, because she was an addict and I was born addicted. My entire life, I saw the struggle and the battle with addiction. So I never lived with her for an extended period of time. We never shared mother-daughter moments, birthdays, Mother's Day, celebration, Christmases. Those weren't things that normal that we shared, right? They would come and pass, without even the slightest acknowledgement. And I saw my mom homeless as an addict on the street. So I will say the beautiful things that I learned about her, I learned from other people. They were never things that I actually experienced. So I never had a reference point to go back and say, oh, well, she was so sweet and so kind and so loving in this way or that way, because there was a period of time where maybe she got clean and we had some moments, except when she first got released from jail, the 6 year stint in penitentiary, she lived with Kevin and I for about 2 weeks. And it was a really short period of time, but it was a very awkward period of time because we had never been in each other's space at all that long. And at that time, I was like 27 years old. Okay. I was very, very adult. And so with all of that being said, I don't have a real reference point to say, oh, my grandmother said that, and now I mother this way, or I parent this way, or, and I do that for my grandmother because she's who reared me. So I find myself mimicking Grace all the time. But I don't have a reference point for my mom because I just didn't have enough experience with her, life experience, for that to really be a thing. The beauty that I found with her were very small moments, and they were stories from other people and their experiences, not necessarily mine.
Wow. So I heard that your mission is to help women remember who they were before the world told them who to be, right?
Yes.
How do you guide women to a place where they can honor the child who actually survived the trauma while still shedding the coping mechanisms of the liar and stiletto that no longer serves them?
Well, because we are that child still, right? We are, and you'll get to honor her by allowing. See, there we go back to that allowing and that acknowledging. Becoming who we need to be does not mean we dismiss that little girl or the trauma that she went through, because she got you here. She's what got you here. She is what made you who you are, what has allowed you to be in this place where you recognize that there are some things that we need to do different. So we honor her. But what I also say in Lyre and Stilettos, we bury her. There's a funeral for her because we no longer want to be that person that is stuck, that is traumatized, that is hurt. We acknowledge her. We thank her for getting us here. But now that we have recognized who it is that we are calling ourselves back home in Lyre and Stilettos, because the world will quickly tell you, you need to be married by 30, you need to have a kid, you need to have retirement by this, and buy a house by this time and retire by 60.
Yeah.
The world likes to tell you what to do. It likes to tell you what to do. However, we do not have to subscribe to the world's idea of who we are and what we should be, specifically Black women. Right? They like to call us angry and, all the things. And then there's that whole trope, and then before they were calling us angry, they were calling us Jezebels and Sapphires and, all of the things, right? So we don't dismiss that child. We honor her because she got us here, but we bury her and we have a funeral for her so that we can fully step into who it is that we're becoming.
Amen. I heard that.
Shout out Clay Farmer with the super chat. Mathis is I've been a police officer for 25 years, and I've been preaching for years that we can't incarcerate our way out of addiction.
Absolutely.
We have to treat that root cause. So shout out Clay. We appreciate the super chat.
Thank you so much. What a poignant comment. And if I could expand on that a little bit, I go into extreme detail about that incarceration piece and how we're using that as rehabilitation. But there is a one size fits all remedy for everybody who finds themselves in a stronghold of addiction. So we throw everybody in a jail cell and say, hey, just do this and do that, and it's supposed to work. But we never get to the root causes of what allowed people to become addicts in the first place.
Yeah.
And that, I think, would take massive reform. That, I think, would take massive legislation, massive investment in, mental health. That I just don't think this country is in a place that we're ready to do.
Right.
In a lot of ways, addiction is still taboo to talk about. It just looks different in different communities, but it's prevalent nonetheless. But we do like to criminalize our way out of it instead of treating it for the mental health issue. And it's why recidivism is so high. It's why people relapse within months or a year of being released because we never got down to the root cause of what caused that pain. And
lot
But
dual
then, like you
diagnosed.
say, you're going back to
People
that
don't want to do
trauma.
that. They
Some
just fix
people,
one or the other, and there's a lot of dual diagnosed people.
and then, like you say, it's a mental health and a mental illness thing because some people, when you really take the time to talk to them, sometimes, like you said, it's generational trauma or childhood trauma that they're trying to bury by
yes.
using
Oh
drugs
God, yes.
or to escape from. And if you just have a conversation with those people, sometimes, like you say, they criminalize it and they're just a criminal and they're an addict. But no, I'm hiding from something that hurt me.
Exactly.
So I'm burying myself in the bottle or burying myself in smoking or whatever.
Exactly. And I think what is so disheartening about it to me is that we love, and I say this all the time, we love to categorize addicts and felons as other. We like to put people in a box and ostracize people and put all types of labels on them and then create all of these systemic barriers that make it so much harder for them to reacclimate back into society. And then we wonder why relapse is so prevalent, right? Because I say this too, like when people are addicts, they usually commit criminal acts in order to sustain the addiction. So once you commit a criminal act and you become a felon, then you can't get a job, and you can't get a job, you can't get housing, you can't support yourself, and it becomes a cycle, of just endless loop and of failure in obstacles. And so the only way people know how to cope with that is usually by reacclimating back to the bottle or the pill or the pipe or whatever it was that takes the pain away. But all it does is numb. It doesn't, and it suppresses. It doesn't allow for any real correction, right? And that's what's so sad, because every one of those people is somebody's mom, somebody's brother, somebody's aunt, and they have families and people that love them too. They just kind of find themselves in the stronghold of addiction where it's so much harder to break from it. And until they're ready, there's really nothing that we can do about it. I literally lost myself trying to get my mom to get clean. But I had to realize that I wanted it more than she did. Right.
Yeah.
And she just had to get to a place to where she was tired of being sick and tired. And unfortunately for my mom, it never came. But I mean, it's just the reality of kind of where we are. But I will tell people, absolutely nobody wakes up one day and decides they want to be an addict. Like absolutely nobody. But life will make you do a lot of things that you said you wouldn't.
Now, how did you get to your place of healing? Because I know going through your journey, like you said, your mom never got there. Are you still working toward it, or have you forgiven yourself as that little girl for feeling like you were able to save your mom?
Oh gosh, yes. I have gotten to my, like I said, I went through my extensive healing process when I wrote Dope Girl the first time, which Dope Girl, the original, is 6 years old. Dope Girl, the new version, the second edition, was released last week. However, that was an extensive healing process for me, was in the writing of it. And before the writing of it, like I told you guys earlier, was probably a decade ago in therapy. And I went to therapy because I was lashing out at my husband for all these silly, reasons, that started to understand that it was something so much bigger underneath the surface. It wasn't the gain. It wasn't being late to the meeting. It wasn't being late to the house or whatever it was. But he was just the person that was closest to me that I was taking it out on. So I started to heal about a decade ago when those little incidences started showing their face in my marriage, but even more so after I wrote the book and I realized that the trauma of not being able, the pain of not being able to have a normal mother-daughter relationship with her, not even knowing her favorite color, y'all, like her favorite food, or having to have sat at a dinner across the table from her in a restaurant, her never having come to one of Kevin's football games, like none of these experiences, right? So it was a healing process because I understood that most of the time during the bulk of her addiction, I was a kid. There was not a lot that I could do about it. But when I became an adult and I graduated from college and I was in a position to take care of her, I did everything that I could, but yet she found her way right back to it. Because what I was trying to offer her was too unfamiliar, right? A house in the suburbs, slow, not a lot of chaos, because addicts are used to a lot of chaos. Stuff happening all the time. And for once in her life, she was able to be calm and not have to look over her shoulder and be at peace and be safe. And I think those things scared her more than actually what the addiction did, because she didn't know how to handle that. She was not familiar with that type of lifestyle. So she immediately ran back to what is most familiar, because that's what we all do when we feel like we're behind, right? We went right back to what is most familiar.
That's true.
What a powerful story. If you have any questions, please drop the questions. We'll try to get to as many as we can. But
I'd like to thank you for coming on and just sharing that and telling us where you can get the book, because you have a message. You are a success and show that your vulnerability, even being in a successful marriage and having the kids and having the husband. And I wish Coach Prime need to have you come up and talk to them boys too.
All of this was intentional, because I saw early on what drugs was doing, and it wasn't just to my mom, y'all. Drugs ran through my bloodline. Like, my mom was not the only person in my family that used. There were so many others around me that used, and we lived in the hood. And I know people say that all the time. Oh, girl, no, we lived in the hood. We lived in the projects in North Dallas and in Section 8 housing in Pleasant Grove. And if anybody knows where Pleasant Grove is in Dallas, it's the southeast sector, that is really rough. So I'm saying that to say that a lot of it was intentional. And it's so crazy, because when Coach Kevin came to pick me up for one of my first dates, y'all, he came to the projects to pick me up.
And he stayed.
So it's funny, because people be like, no, it ain't no way. And I'm like, yeah, I don't look like what I've been through, but I guarantee you I got the receipts for it to prove it. But I think one of the biggest things is where I am now was all intentional, right? I knew early on that I was different from my family. I knew that the life that was being offered to me was not one that I was going to adhere to. But the beauty in all of that was my dad. And that's what I cannot dismiss here. The one thing my mom did right was have picked my dad, because I don't know where I would be had he been anybody else. But my dad was a very educated man, a very successful man, who's a Vietnam veteran, who, was a counselor, and he taught math, and he's got, a master's degree in family and guidance counseling. And so my dad was showing me another side of the world, and he put me in private school. So I lived the biggest dichotomy, because I was in the hood, in the projects, going to private school. So I had this uniform and this cheerleading outfit and all the stuff. And then my dad was dropping me off in this, convertible, but we lived in the projects. They were like, wait, what? Well, it was very, very, very interesting. So I have to thank my dad for showing me another side of the world, because that allowed me to dream bigger. And then every decision I made after that became very intentional about what I wanted for my life and not what I was surrounded by.
Okay.
Now, how can you stress for the aunties? Because sometimes how men don't like to go to doctors. Coach Primer said that, but sometimes as women, we're so busy as moms, as entrepreneurs, movers and shakers. And for you, you're a speaker, you're an entrepreneur. I know at one time you did interior design, and you're a football mom and a football wife. How do we make sure as women that we take time out to get that healing we need for ourselves, so we're the best person that we can be?
Yes,
sometimes women we'll get so caught up in doing all that we won't take time out to heal ourselves.
Yeah,
that's it. And we cannot be anything to anybody if we are not healed. I know people say all the time that the wife and the mom is the backbone of the house and the backbone of everything. But it is true, y'all. We literally are. Sorry. I I think I realize now, in my older age, in my late 40s, I understand now that that quiet time, that me time is more important now than it ever was. Because I think we have this battery that we think never dies, and we just go, 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 go until we give until we just crash out. But that's not the place that you want to get to. You want to make intentional steps about giving yourself the space and the time that you need. And that all starts with intentionality. It's like literally my favorite word, intentionality, because we have to be purposeful about everything, our decisions, our self-care, removing ourselves from people and places and situations that no longer serve us, and not making excuses for it. Right. But understanding that at this big old age that we are now, we don't owe people an explanation for choosing you and your peace and the healing and the self-care. Sometimes self-care is just removing yourself from toxic friendships, from toxic relationships, from saying no sometimes, and it sounds so, cliche, but it is very true that if you allow yourself to do it just one time, then you understand that, okay, I can do it and I can choose me. Because every time you give yourself away when you have nothing else to give, that's performative, y'all. And that's just what I'm talking about in Byron Stilettos, because we worry about what other people are going to say if we don't. Because we're more comfortable with giving them the version of us that always shows up for them than accepting the version of us that needs rest.
Yes.
All right, let's jump into some of these questions from the chat. How did you allow yourself to allow your husband to love you?
That's a good one.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm gonna say this. This is an easy one actually, because my husband is the most thoughtless, loving person you will ever meet. He is he's naturally so loving, and I mean that because he's so attentive in literally every area, from cooking dinner to, hey, I got the kids, hey, go take a nap. I didn't have to force myself to allow him to love me. He wouldn't allow me to say no. I think if that makes any sense. He was so purposeful in how he loved me, because he was so let me back up. He was so attentive in that I could say to my kids, hey, you guys, I think we need to go let's make blueberry cakes for breakfast tomorrow. And without a second thought, I'm thinking I'm just having a random conversation with the kids, and then he'd go to the store, and next thing you know, all the ingredients for the blueberry pancakes would be sitting on the table. So he loved me in a way where I couldn't deny it, and that I couldn't say no to it, because it's just naturally who he is, and he did it all the time. But he also is a soft space for me. He's like my bestie. He's a soft space for me because he allows me to be myself and to unload everything that I feel without judgment. Right? Because so many times we like to judge people, even our spouses, when you don't understand something or you haven't had the experience yourself. But I think that we met each other at a time when we were still growing up. So he's seen every facet of me, and I think he knew what I needed. I got a lot of love from my dad, I will say, which is usually rare. These situations are usually the opposite, right? It's usually the dad that's not around.
Right.
It's like I said, it's real. It's a dichotomy. But with that being said, Kevin is just a naturally loving person. He just loves you in a way that you can't say no. Like you just can't.
Go ahead, coach. How did you allow yourself to take up space in areas that were outside of what your family was offering you?
Okay, my family, as in the family that I grew up with. I think is that what she means?
Maybe.
Take up space in areas that were outside. How did you allow yourself to take up space in areas that were outside of what your family was offering you? Okay, so I think the best way for me to answer that is, again, that points back to my dad, because my dad worked at a very affluent place in Dallas. And he had experiences there that my my family that I was being raised with did not have the ability to provide for me. So though I was living in the hood, I went to school with affluent white people by day, right? And then I lived with poor, impoverished Black people by night. Um, and so I was allowed to grow in those spaces because my dad was allowing me opportunities that would not have been common for kids like me that were growing up, in the hood. But because he was a very educated man that worked at a very high profile place, then I was able to partake in some of the events and tea parties and, fashion shows. And I even got a scholarship from one of the foundations there because it was my dad that was putting me in those spaces because he had access through his job. Because my family did not have access to that. But so I was able to grow and see another part of the world because my dad had access to spaces that they did not. If that makes sense?
Yeah. Okay. Last question. Did you deal with the resentment from your family when you declined the life they offered and chose a different path?
I will put it this way. I don't think until recently, I don't think any of the resentment was loud towards me. I think there's always a lot of chatter about things that you don't understand, right? Because anytime you choose different for yourself, anytime you outgrow people or spaces or things, people that don't understand or are not experiencing those things always have things to say about it. I'm not exempt from that, right? And so I'm saying that to say that I don't harbor resentment from them now because I understand that people do the best with what they're given and with their circumstances. And I understand that, but I also know that God also gives us free will, right? And we get to choose better if you want better. And so I just chose different. And so even though a lot of people can look at that as you think you better than us, which we've all heard before, right? It's not at all about me thinking I'm better than anybody. It's me wanting better for myself. So I didn't think I had a lot of resentment from them until maybe later. In more recent days than then, because when I left and I went to college, that was it for me, y'all. I didn't go back home. That was it. I was done with that. Because I was like, yeah, this is just not for me. Because once I went off to school and I realized it was a whole nother world in college, like everybody was free and independent and having experiences and learning things and, being held accountable and there are clubs and different things. It was like, a whole new world. But then in the summertime, I went home the first summer after my freshman year. And I felt like I was stepping in quicksand. Almost like the more you go forward, the more you're being pulled down because the environment was just so toxic. Everybody around me was pregnant, selling drugs or own drugs, shooting ambulances. Like we had burglar bars in our apartments in apartments. Okay.
Yeah, and of course you see the other side of the fence. You don't want to go back over to the burglar.
Right.
I was like, y'all,
Like,
this
why
is
you
not
in there?
it. This is not for me. So as soon as that summer was over and I went back to school, that was it. That was it. I was like, no, y'all got it.
Okay, this is our last question with 2 weeks so we can get to the wrap. I know people, you guys gotta go to thekimmathis.com to get more information about her services and where to buy her book. I think we're going to put the link on as well. I think it's available on Amazon right now, right?
It is. Both of them.
Make sure pick up Dope Girl and her most recent book, Liars and Stilettos: A Woman's Guide to Walking in Her Truth.
Yes.
So the link was it was a little bit too long for us to be able to post in the chat for you. So if you will go in the description, you can grab the link right in the description for the book. So just catch the link in the description on Robert Man Media, and it'll also be on the CU Aunties description as well.
And if any of you follow me on social media at the Kim Mathis on Instagram, then the links to the books are also in my bio.
All righty there. Well, we thank you. The powerful sisterhood that we meet just surrounding this is so great, and that's what makes us keep coming back, because we meet all types of women, and we appreciate you joining us and sharing your journey and having those wonderful kids and coaches.
Thank you. Thank you.
I got my son shirt right now.
Yeah, thank you.
First one, and I had it. So they're wonderful guys as well. And
we appreciate it so much. Thank you guys for the support and for all of the nephews, because I know they appreciate it. It is like having family away from home for a lot of these boys. So what you guys have created here is absolutely beautiful, and I thank you and appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much. All right, you guys know where to go. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Look at that sisterhood. Look at that, you guys. Wow. So,
all right.
Next, what we got next? Are we gonna talk real quick about our smart, tough, and fast, or are we gonna go straight to raffle? What do you guys want to do? I know time is.
It's up to y'all. I'm trying to make sure that the raffle is working. We got the raffle up working. If you want to do smart, tough, fast, it's up to you. I don't know. Look like the producer got the raffle up.
Okay,
let's go ahead and do the raffle.
We gotta find out who gets these tickets. We gotta find out who gets these tickets.
Who is getting these tickets?
Who's on the voter?
Who's on the voter? Who wants to take me?
Who is going to Boulder? Who is going to Boulder?
And the winner is
10.
10. Going to Boulder.
Congratulations. We'll be reaching.
Congratulations.
All right,
10. Going to Boulder.
All right, look at that. That's what we do. We want to make somebody happy. We want to make somebody to get the experience or just enjoy the game and have some fun in life. In life, there's a lot going on out there in the world. We want to bring some joy. Check that out. All right, then, you guys. It's up to you guys. Right, what you got? I can go quick. Smartest way of the game, real quick, you guys. This was a tough one for me. I'm gonna get my notes because everybody did so good. I know there was some probably, if you're really in the coach's eye, you can probably see some things, but everybody did good. So I'll just start off. I just, simple. It was K-Saw. He was sprinkling stuff everywhere. So for me, it was K-Saw.
Yeah, I think I had K-Saw too. I don't know.
I went back to my normal.
Also was looking at K-Saw for character, so I don't know. I don't know.
I got K-Saw, but I don't got them there. Here we go again. We got the same scrabbled around. But I went back to my acknowledging the nephews of the week. So it's Carter and Chauncey Gooden. And shout out to the ones from last week. I didn't get to do you, Tafik and Montrez.
Oh, you went for the academic awards of the week, right? Okay. Okay. Toughest
I
player
gave so much grief.
I ordered Walker.
Me too.
Oh my God, that's a
yes.
Look at us.
All righty.
We ain't gonna agree on none of the rest of them. Watch.
We might. All right, fast. I had sincere.
I had sincere too. But I also had Q for 6, Quentin, because I thought he exploded out from the special teams. And he was going to be.
He had 68 yards. And he got like fastest college player of week 4. So
Sincere.
You had to give it to Sincere.
Sincere running like, I'm up out of here. You can't tell me that when you get that ball. I'm happy for him.
Gone.
Okay, let's go to quick discipline. Discipline player.
I had Kate in there.
Yeah, Kate in there?
After being out and coming back, everybody.
I went with Amari McNeil on that
one. Amari? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't mad at that.
I had order for both of those, discipline and toughness.
No, that's cheating. You can't do that. You gotta.
How you gonna call me a cheater and you go with the smart kids when you want to? You're like,
that's not even.
I'm going with this EPA anytime I want. No,
we got to acknowledge them off the field too. It's bigger than ball. So
I do that on the social media.
Here we go. Let me think.
Okay.
I gotta come back now because I was on the fence with that one. Let me think.
It was a hard one this week for me to pick.
Let me go back and look at my notes. Since you being picky. Let me check my notes out.
It was definitely a hard one for
But
me.
Kaden looked good. Like he looked comfortable.
I mean, he
more
looked really
confident.
excellent. He did.
A lot of guys looked good until the third quarter when they kind of let up off the gas. You know, for a minute, I gotta give it to well, I don't have to, but I'm gonna acknowledge who did we just play?
Wyoming.
Cowboys, Wyoming, because you couldn't tell them they was losing. They had that confidence, like we still in the game and we're gonna win.
They did.
So you know, they did have that confidence. So kudos to you guys for that. You know, but hey, we went. So wrapping it up, the character. I mean, I had to go with K-Salt again because I thought that
what is up with.
Well, because
I
told you it was really hard for me because I just thought he had a good character because it's not just that he played well after being, you know, not playing, you know, in Houston. He had said he owned it, that it was a good game, but I need to stay consistent. And I thought that was a good character to have. He's like, it's great. This is what I should be doing, but it means nothing if I can't stay consistent. So,
okay,
I'm trying to figure out when did Auntie Nisha become? When did you become a rule follower?
Next week,
when did you become a rule follower? I'm trying to understand. When did you become the rule follower? All of a sudden, I am shocked. I am
more people for smart, right?
Right. She was like smart. Everybody that was on the list, the whole list. Everybody so smart. No, pick one.
Yeah.
They give
now we can't use nobody twice.
So no, hold on. I just do what they tell me. Like they give you two, and then I didn't pick them last week. So I just showed love to the ones
who you two. So whatever gave you two, you fall in the
honest. This week was the hardest for me. So I had K-Salt, I had Arden, and I had Sincere. But I had Sincere for character and speed. I had Arden for discipline and toughness, and I was looking at K-Salt too for intelligence and character. It was hard. I don't know.
It was hard. When y'all playing good, it was. I mean, overall, it was hard. It was hard for me too.
I like some of these names y'all got. Armani, okay, Omarion, okay.
All these nephews on the team, and y'all could not spread the love.
But you know who else though? I also thought about the defense for the safety.
Which one?
Who?
The safety. When we got the safety.
Oh, when we got the safety.
Yeah, our defense for getting the safety.
Yes. I give it to O-line too, because Kaden had a lot of time to slow, so you know.
Okay,
O-line, everybody that came in played well to me, even when Jordan was out. So
I say yeah.
Auntie Curly said yeah. So I went with Damon Greaves. You know, like special teams been the most consistent this season so far, and I really liked him in the presser. And he was talking about like, what'd you say?
I said Auntie K, we gonna have to do better next week. Nisha showed out on this week. She got reasons too.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, game on. Game on now. Oh, Nisha showing out.
Yeah.
Oh, you showing out. Okay.
So listen.
You different when you don't when you don't travel to the game. I see what's happening. You different when you ain't outside. All right, okay.
Reeves is good. Yeah.
You know, like
he
was talking about, you know, owning up for leadership. Who she said Greaves. Thank you, Auntie Carly. Now, next week and moving forward, I need y'all to pick one person per category. Like, if you can't use the same nephew,
if that's the rule, you can't pick student of the week. No student of the week. All of your picks have to come off the field during the game.
Okay. Right.
During the game, yeah.
What Rob like to do? What Rob like to do? Yeah,
shake my hand.
Shake my hand. Yeah, okay. Yeah, shake my hand. Shake my hand. Yeah.
All right.
I'm not. Y'all hear this, nephews? It's not me. It's him.
So we will. So I think the fair thing to do is acknowledge the students of the week. Period. Every week, put an acknowledgement out for them for getting their schoolwork and their own field work taken care of.
That's
and
fair.
Then we are agreeing to have one original pick for each of the categories. Yes. No reuse.
I just hear a verbal yes, Kay. And
yes.
Okay.
Here. One person. You gotta talk to yourself. I started with one, but okay. Shake hands. All righty, you guys. That's
funny. This didn't become a rule till she used the student athletes for the first 3 weeks, but it's okay. It's all right.
No
bad. I got it. It's all good.
All righty. So it's important weekend, you guys. If you're ladies, sister, join us. cuaunties.club. You guys know we'll be there cheering on the nephews to take on BYU.
Yes. If
And
you
make
ain't
sure
at
you
the
sign
game, you
up
might as
for
well be with us. Might as well
Make sure
come
y'all
to the
sign up for
Discord.
CUaunties.com so y'all don't miss any drops. So y'all get the newsletter. Make sure y'all signed up. Get in the club. Get some merch.
That's it. As anything, let's go Buff.
Go Buffs.
All right.
All right,
Y'all
guys.
know what it is. Oh, and that's right. Everything with the needs a good auntie. Now they're giving back. Let's giving back to the community.
We are giving back. Look at Rob. Rob trying to keep his job. He ain't want to be fighting this week. If you purchase anything from
this line,
Auntie product, we are giving back at the end of the year to a charity in Colorado. So make sure you go check out our good Auntie products and find something that you can give it as a gift or take for yourself on CUaunties.com.
All right. Auntie K, Auntie Nisha, Let's Talk Sports. Go Buffs. Yeah.
Special shout out to the CU Aunties too, because they were out there in force again, as they always are.
We love the aunties. Them CU Aunties. Them CU Aunties. Man, I'm telling you, that stuff for real.